Hey, welcome to the Uncomfortable is Okay podcast. I'm your host, Chris Desmond. This is the first solo episode of 2019, so I hope you had a great new year, rang it in style, and are ready to go with me this year. And I thought we'd kick the ball with a little bit of a chat about understanding your motivations. And it's a good time of year. A lot of people set New Year's resolutions. So understanding your motivations so that you can become more effective, more efficient, and deal with discomfort a little bit better. And what's triggered this for me is that a Secret Santa present that I got actually. So thank you for that, Santa. I was given the Daily Stoic Journal. And I've started to do a little bit of kind of morning and evening reflection, and it's really interesting if anyone wants to find out more about it. I did a post about it on my social media, or just check it out online, the Daily Stoic Journal. But one of the questions that was asked of me was, what are you learning and studying for? And obviously the topic of comfort zones is really interesting to me and it's fascinating. But there's also all of this other stuff that I'm doing around the podcast and creating more content and trying to build a business around this as well, which requires a reasonable amount of learning and also studying to put things in place and put things in action. But sitting down and having a think about this question, why am I learning and why am I studying? Obviously, there are a whole lot of positives for that come up. And if I asked you this question, most of the time people will just come up with a positive response. So for me, it's when I'm learning things, when I'm challenging myself, when I'm discovering new ideas, it gives me a sense of fulfillment, actually. Is that I love learning and I love finding new ideas, different ways to think about things and challenging my brain in that way. So that's a positive. It fulfills me. It also allows me to learn new skills. It allows me to understand the world around me a little bit better, hopefully understand myself a little bit better as well, depending on what it is that I'm learning and what it is that I'm studying. But as well as the positive aspects with that, thinking a little bit deeper and going a little bit further below the surface, there are some potential negative aspects associated with learning and studying. So for me, in this instance, I've done a reasonable amount of kind of self-development, personal development work over the last 5 to maybe 8 years. And there's so much information out there and so much different stuff that you can look at and that you can learn that often I've been quite guilty of going really, really broad with this. And I've don't get me wrong, I've picked out some great stuff from kind of this broad approach. But part of that, I think, is internally looking at myself as a flawed individual and kind of wanting to work on those flaws and improve myself in that way. But going really broad with this, often it's taking in a lot of information that I don't particularly need at that time and that I can't apply at that time as well. So that's a potential negative of learning and studying, is that actually, hey, I go and learn a lot of information that I don't need and that I can't apply in that instance. And whereas what I could be doing is I could be a little bit more strategic around what it is that I'm targeting, what it is that I want to learn to develop myself. But also another negative that I find sometimes for myself with learning and studying is the fact that I use it as a procrastination tool. And there are a lot worse procrastination tools that I could be using. But sometimes I just really need to take action, that I don't need to bring in any more information. I've already learned enough. I've already studied enough to start. And actually that taking action and starting something, I'm going to learn a lot more by doing that than sitting down and reading some more theory or watching some more videos or listening to some audio. Make sure you finish watching this video or finish listening to this audio though before you go off and take action. So there's another negative, and I guess What I'm talking about here is that every action, everything that you do has potential positive benefits, but also has potential negative benefits as well. And it's developing your awareness around, why am I doing this in this moment? Sometimes it's really vital for me to learn, it's really vital for me to study, and sometimes it's just super beneficial. But at other times I use it as a tool to procrastinate, that I use it as something that's too broad, that's not going to give me any benefit in that moment. So it's being aware of yourself and just making sure that you understand, why am I doing this at this point in time? Is it for a positive benefit? Is it for a negative benefit? Or am I running away from something? And if you can start to train this, and it's much harder to do than it is just to say to you guys, but if you can train this, it is going to make you more effective, more efficient in terms of your use of time. If you pick yourself, actually, I'm doing this to procrastinate. What I need to do is I need to stop. I need to go and take action. Or I'm doing this to learn the skill that I need to do to take action in the future. Cool, I will keep going with it. But also, it's going to reduce your level of discomfort at times. If you're doing something to run away from something else, you're going to end up with a background level of discomfort in yourself, because you know, actually, this isn't what I should be doing at this moment. And that discomfort is going to build up. And sometimes that can lead to a negative feeling when you go back to this task, whatever it is that you're doing, in the future, when you're wanting to work on it in a positive perspective. So, advice to you, make sure that you understand your motivations in the moment when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Thanks everyone for getting uncomfortable with me today. I hope that was helpful, and love for you to reach out, get in contact with me, and let me know how I can help you get out of your comfort zone in 2019. We'll see you again next week.